New terms of service for YouTube spell the end. Now, this is a complicated story. A lot of people are freaking out because in the new terms of service going into effect December 10th, YouTube says that they can ban you if your channel is not commercially viable. That's right. If you're frequently demonetized, YouTube, they'll get rid of you. Now, let me tell you exactly what's going on. These changes are not going to have a massive impact. There's also another change, something called, I think, a law called Coppa. I don't know exactly, too much about it, but the basic idea is you're going to have to mark on your videos whether or not they could be for kids. And there's a lot of criteria of what makes something for kids. And if it is, you lose a ton of advertisements, meaning your revenue's gone. Guess what? Then your channel's not commercially viable anymore, and then you're out. What's happening is YouTube is narrowing what is going to be allowed on the platform. And what's happening is not political. It's not, even though there's many political channels getting demonetized. Let me just tell you something. Uber, the car service, operates at a huge loss. YouTube also operates at a huge loss. Most of these companies operate at a huge loss. The reason they do it is they're trying to dominate the market and create a monopoly. And then once they control the space and no one can compete, they start making the company more profitable. So YouTube for a long time was operating at a loss, allowing Google to own online digital video. Name a competitor. Sure, you got Vimeo. Nah, no one can really use it. No one's going to see your video, but it does what it does. I mean, you can upload your video and you can share it. You've got BitChute now, which is fantastic. So for the most part, there are other companies, but everybody knows YouTube's the big dog. They're the biggest. Here's what happens. Now YouTube wants to start making money. And that means if you upload like water bottle drinking challenge or bottle flipping, and they don't sell ads on it, then YouTube is losing money by allowing you to host that video. The original owners of YouTube couldn't sustain it because video hosting is ridiculously expensive. Google subsidized it, dominated the market, got in early, and as they have it, all of you smaller YouTubers who make a small amount of money, YouTube's gonna say, listen, man, if you only make $5 on a video, not commercially viable, gone. Let's read the story. And I do want to push back a little bit because let's I got to be real here. YouTube has always reserved the right to ban you for literally any reason. What I think is happening is YouTube is trying to do these changes very slowly. The reason why they're announcing these changes now is so that everyone hears about it and then thinks it's normal in a year or two from now when someone gets a notice saying your commercial is no longer commercially viable, so we're banning you. People are going to be like, yeah, but we all knew that for 2 years was going to happen. If they just did it outright, people would panic. And that would cause a huge uproar in the YouTube community. It would be very disruptive to their platform. They need the Logan Pauls. They need the Casey Neistats. And to an extent, me, the milquetoast fence sitters in politics, to maintain commercially viable products that aren't too crazy and make money. And I'll say this for myself. They've deranked me. They've put pressure on this channel, specifically my main channel, some road bumps. But you know why they like my main channel? Why I actually have people at Google who call me on the phone? Because I do mainstream politics, I push back a bit on some of these stories, but I'm a milquetoast fence sitter. It's commercially safe. That's what matters. Hey, Tim Pool talks politics. He doesn't swear, he doesn't condone hate speech, and his opinions aren't particularly strong. He does push back on a lot of the media narratives, but it's not too controversial. No one really talks about him, and it makes us money. But you look at other political commentators, Steven Crowder, for instance. Oh, wait, he's been removed from the partner program. His channel's no longer commercially viable. Will they get rid of him? I don't think so. That's too big of a channel. But I will say that commercial viability could also be, creating new users. And I'd imagine someone like Crowder is going to bring in non-YouTubers onto YouTube, which will then make them money in other ways. But it basically means if you produce, avant-garde art and strange content that gets relatively low views, and you're trying to build a brand, you're out. What this really means is moving forward, only those who are already famous will be able to use YouTube. Because think about it. You start a new channel, and then what? Nobody watches, your videos are expensive to host, and YouTube says, sorry, that's not commercially viable. The you in YouTube is going bye-bye. And it's been going away for a long time. Let's read the story from The Verge. YouTube is rolling out updated terms of service on December 10th. And a new line acts as a reminder the company doesn't have to keep any video up it doesn't want to. YouTube is under no obligation to host or serve content. Wow. It's another way of saying that just because YouTube is a relatively open platform, it doesn't mean the company is required to keep videos up. YouTube has faced criticism from all sides over its video removal process. Some critics argue that YouTube could do more to take down videos that butt up against the company's rules but don't outright violate them. Others argue that YouTube ought to be a fully open platform and shouldn't control what remains up and what doesn't. Executives have long defended the platform as a champion of free speech, but have started to clamp down on the type of videos allowed to circulate. But so here's the story, but let's do this. Check this out. Here we have the terms of service as of July 22nd in Europe. This is Great Britain. And this says specifically, let me make sure I can, account suspension and termination. They say YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account access to all or part of the service if YouTube reasonably believes that its provision to the service to you is no longer commercially viable. Now everybody's freaking out over this line. Listen, it's been in effect in the UK, and there are many political creators who are not commercially viable who have not been banned. So I want to make sure it's clear. Right now, you don't got a whole lot to worry about. It's the new creators. YouTube knows if they ban someone big, it'll create a big press storm, and it's bad for them. But putting this in place now means they can start nipping the buds before they become PewDiePie. You see, PewDiePie got really big, and for a while, YouTube was loving it up until the media started to use PewDiePie to attack them. And PewDiePie made some mistakes. So I believe, based on what I've seen, who I've talked to, YouTube does not want YouTube famous people. When someone gets famous because of YouTube, the responsibility is then on YouTube. And then people say, look at the platform and look what they've done. What YouTube wants is already famous people like Jack Black and Will Smith to use the platform so that YouTube can say, hey, they're just famous people who use our hosting service. They don't want the responsibility. So the commercially viable line made everybody angry. But here's why I showed you this specific terms of service. It's from July 22nd, okay? It's long since passed. Have there been great problems in the UK? For the most part, not really. We then have this. This is the current terms of service for YouTube. The current terms of service straight up say, we can ban you for any reason. So here's the thing. I think the reason they're going to be adding that line in has nothing to do with the ability of them to ban people. I don't believe it'll have big changes to anybody who's already on the platform. The intent is to seed the idea so that in the next wave of new creators in the future, they'll just tell you like, hey, we appreciate that you applied for the partner program, but your channel is not commercially viable, and therefore we are not going to move forward with you this time. And they're going to say, aw, that's so sad. Whereas 5 years ago, even later, you could literally start a channel, put up as much content as you wanted, and then start making money. The other thing they're going to do is, here's a prediction I have. Channels that upload long form content with low viewership. So if you do a podcast that's 2 hours long and you're getting, 100, 200 viewers, you're out. That's really expensive to host. Nobody's watching it. They don't want to pay for it. There's also channels that do like ASMR, as well as like white noise channels that will play like thunderstorms, on a rainy day outside, on the beach or something. And those videos will be like 2 hours long. YouTube's got to pay for that. And are they going to make money on ads? Probably not. So YouTube is going to start culling all of this stuff, but they're going to do it very slowly. And they're going to start from the bottom so the bigger channels don't notice. I'll tell you what, man, I'd be willing to bet there's going to be a ton of people, YouTube creators, who are doing really, really well, making a lot of money, and they're going to keep their mouth shut. YouTube's going to say, hey, they're not going to say it explicitly, but basically, if you don't toe the line, your career is done. Now here's what's scary. YouTube roped everybody in. They said, come, start a business. Start a business with us. Here are the rules. And then what happened? Now they're changing the rules retroactively. You made a video last year, a prank video, banned. But you say, wait, I would have taken the video down. Too bad. You're gone. We don't care. Machine learning, you're out. So let me tell you, there's a story that I really like in terms of what the easiest way to explain this. For one, we all know that Facebook periodically changes how Facebook works. Everybody always gets mad. So Facebook learned to roll out changes very, very slowly and only to some people. The famous story about this is eBay. When eBay first started, the website was yellow, and apparently people didn't like it. Or new users had a problem with it, the company wanted to change it. So one day they made it white. And everybody flipped out saying, oh, no, I hate it. I can't stand it. It's different. It's weird. I can't understand it. So they changed it back due to the backlash. But then every day slowly incremented the color of yellow towards white and nobody realized it because the changes were so subtle that about a year later, the site was totally white. Nobody cared. There was no backlash. You do it slowly. Fast changes make people angry. I'm seeing a ton of people complain, saying, this is it, I'm going to get banned, my channel's over. No. If you're already on YouTube, you're fine. But there are some small channels, particularly news channels, that are not commercially viable. There are a lot of channels that are not commercially viable for several reasons. They could be, but YouTube doesn't want them. And I will tell you this. My channels are commercially viable because I'm a milquetoast fence sitter. Steven Crowder, on the other hand, he's risky. And that's where the real danger comes in. I do not believe someone like Crowder will be banned. I believe Steven will be fine, and he may even get back into the partner program. You know, we'll see what happens. Maybe he already is. I don't know. I don't keep track of what he's doing. But let's say there's somebody who's younger, who has the exact same opinions as Crowder, and launches a channel in the exact same format. YouTube will stop them immediately. Not right now. It's going to be gradual and slow. But I tell you this, in 5 years, you will not see channels like mine. You will not. New creators who try doing this are going to get the purge. YouTube knows if they ban me, people will panic and flee the platform because their businesses are being threatened. So the strategy, in my opinion, right now is do not let the seeds grow. The plants that are already growing, we can't trim them, otherwise people will panic. But those new buds that are popping up, we got to cut them off. YouTube is making sure everyone knows that. YouTube wants to be Netflix. I've known this for years because YouTube people told me this. They want premium TV shows. I'll tell you what YouTube really, really hates. This. I kid you not. They hate the idea of talk radio on YouTube. YouTube wants to be fun adventures, showing you beautiful landscapes. They want to be a video platform. They don't want it to be something where someone turns on the video and then clicks to a different tab and goes about their business while they listen. That's an audio platform. YouTube doesn't want to do that. But guess what? YouTube dominated everything. The way YouTube works, the partner program, the way the system is, even podcasters would rather be on YouTube than these other websites. And so then what ends up happening? Well, YouTube has unintended consequences of their actions. YouTube faces them. They didn't want to make PewDiePie. PewDiePie was just the algorithm it worked. There's that other van host woman who got like 2 million followers in a couple days or in a couple weeks, because she just so happened to hit the algorithm precisely as needed. She was the right person at the right time. YouTube doesn't have the intention of making celebrities. They want to make money. They want to prevent celebrities who can cause them damage. This is step one. So is it the end of YouTube? Right, yes, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed it. In a few years, I won't be here. We'll see what happens. But it's not going to be overnight. They are going to slowly be changing this. The shoreline is slowly pulling back, but eventually you'll leave. You'll go to the beach and you'll see all the beautiful shoreline, everything you loved, and it'll slowly be receding without you noticing. And then one day, decades from now, there'll be some little kid asking you why you hang out on the sandy dunes, and you're going to be like, we've always hung out here. We used to surf. Man, we don't surf anymore. The water's all gone. Now it's just a big sand desert or something. Sand desert, yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment is coming up at 4 p.m. youtube.com/TimCastNews, and I will see you all. YouTube.com/TimCast at 4 p.m. I will see you all there.